we won't try and ask you from a perspective in London what we have to do here, but it's interesting to see that the problems facing finance globally are somewhat the same problems that we're facing here. Of course, we have in Russia always extra challenges, and the current geopolitical situation is one of them. That aside, from a London point of view, what's the one thing that you think would make a large difference in terms of foreign investors' perception of the Russian financial markets?
Well, I think clearly the near-term outlook depends a great deal on what's going on and what's occupying the interests of Western investors, especially in Ukraine. So depending on the outcome of that, I think that will decide the near-term outlook for foreign investors. If the crisis is resolved satisfactorily, which by the way is probably in the interest of both Russia, Ukraine, and also the West, if it's resolved satisfactorily, then I think foreign investors will return to Russia. I think the long-term investment case for Russia is still very strong. Beyond Ukraine and the uncertainty around that issue, the concern of most foreign investors based in London is usually around the price of oil and gas. Quite appropriately, given that Russia exports so much of it, and so much of its exports are dominated by that price. Provided that prices for energy are stable, then I think most investors would agree that the outlook for Russia actually is pretty good. So in the near term, it's very much clouded by the Ukrainian events, but beyond that, I think investors are still positively positioned in terms of their expectations for Russia.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nitin. We have a challenge here, obviously, because the same issues of trust and many of the same reasons behind it are facing us. I think as CFAs, as you pointed out, we have a responsibility to try and improve the environment and the financial sector for ourselves and for our own future. Thank you very much.